Hello. So today we are going to discuss about shear force bending moment diagram. So this will be helpful for all the purpose for any concept clearing and for any competitive exam who is preparing for a competitive exam. For those also it will be helpful. Okay. So today's topic shear force and bending moment diagram. So first, we need to know that where shear force bending moment diagram mostly applied, and for those components we need to find the shear force and bending moment diagram, because due to the shear force and bending moment, what are the stresses will develop, due to that failure will occurs. So we have to design on the basis of maximum shear force and maximum bending moment of any component. So that's why we need to know about the shear force and bending moment. And if we plot that shear force and bending moment in diagram or coordinate axis, then we call it as a shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay, so the component which these two are the dominating, this is our beam. Okay, so first we need to know about beam. What is beam? So beam used to define, this is a bar. Beam basically is a bar. Suppose we have this one, and this is basically a bar like that, which subject, this bar is subject to force or couples, any or both of these force and couple may subject, that lie in a plane, the plane on which it will lie, containing the longitudinal axis. This axis we can call this as a longitudinal axis, and along this axis of the bar, when the forces and couples will act, this is called a beam. So beam basically a horizontal member. If you see, this is that longitudinal axis lies in horizontal axis, so basically we used to call that beam is a horizontal member in which vertical or transverse load is acting, or we can say that perpendicular to the longitudinal axis, the forces or couple may act. Okay, so this we defined as a beam. Beam basically a horizontal member on which transverse or vertical or perpendicular to the longitudinal axis forces is acting. Okay, and due to this transverse load, that beam tends to shear off. If you see like that, suppose I have this as a beam. Okay, so when there will be forces acting, so this is going to tend shear off due to this vertical load, shear off, or it tends to bend like that. Okay, it tends to bend. Okay, so that's why mainly in beam there is a dominating loads and couples are shear force and bending moment. Okay, so this is one horizontal member in which transverse or shear load is acting, or in other language we can write, this is beam is a bar subject to force or couple, subject to force or couple that lie in a plane containing the longitudinal axis of the bar is called a beam. Okay, so basically what I told, that basically basically it is a horizontal member in which horizontal member in which transverse or vertical load is acting. Okay, and due to this vertical load there will be a bending and or shear off, and due to this load beams are always tends to bend or shear off. Okay, so beam basically a horizontal member in which transverse or vertical load is acting. Due to this load, beams are always tends to bend or shear off. Okay, so we have seen already. So how can I define a beam, or how can I specify a beam? Okay, so it is not necessary to draw always beam like that. Okay, so for specifying the beam, what we need to do for specifying the beam, we need to draw this longitudinal axis. Okay, so if we say this is LA means longitudinal axis, we have to draw this longitudinal axis. Okay, and this longitudinal axis will the length of this longitudinal axis, this length is called span of the beam. This is called span of the beam. Okay, so suppose this span is L. Okay, so we need to define this length of the beam. Okay, so beam used to specify by span of the beam and the forces which acting on the beam. Okay, so by this manner, means basically by longitudinal axis of beam we used to specify. Okay, so no need to draw always this 3D figure, only if we draw the longitudinal axis and length will be equal to the span, and or the length is known as span, we have to draw the length, and what are the forces acting, forces or couples acting on it, we have to draw this one. Okay, so this is our beam. So as we have seen that some vertical forces are acting on the beam, due to that it will tend to shear off or bend. Okay, so that's why you need to study these beams. Okay, so now next see that what are the types of beams. Okay, so let's see next that types of beam. Okay, so now we will be seeing the types of beam. So if we see the types of beam, we will get that there is a two types in gross manner. First is statically determinate and next is statically indeterminate. Statically determinate beam and statically indeterminate. How can I define statically determinate? Statically determinate means that number of static equilibrium. We know that static equilibrium, that is our summation of x is equal to 0, summation of f of y is equal to 0 and summation of moments is equal to 0. If the number of static equilibrium equation is greater than or equal to number of unknowns, okay, then we call it as a statically determinate beam. Okay, so number of unknowns here we will be getting in the form of reactions. Okay, and if we see that statically indeterminate, in statically indeterminate, number of static equilibrium equation will be less than the number of unknowns. That means for this kind of beam, by using the static equilibrium equation, we can't find the reactions. Okay, so for determining or finding the reaction, we need to take the for another equation. Okay, statically equilibrium equation is not sufficient to find the number of unknowns. Okay, so this is our statically indeterminate beams. Now see, let's, in statically determinate beams, under this we have simply supported beam, we have cantilever beam, we have overhanging beam. These three beams are coming under statically determinate beam. And statically indeterminate beams, we have propped cantilever beam, continuous beam, and fixed or built-in beam. Okay, so let's see the different types of beam, or how can we define the simply supported beam. In simply supported beam, what happened, that there is a simple supports, that simple supports in the form of hinge, roller, or we can say this is in the form of hinge. Okay, hinge or hinge roller, and there will be some loading, it may be a different kind of loading may be there. So this is our simply support, means simply will support the beam. Okay, next we have cantilever beam. In cantilever beam, one of the edge or side is fixed, another is free. Okay, one of the edge like this, just built in, and this is free. Okay, so this is our cantilever beam. Next we have overhang. Overhang beam means what, just after the support there will be extension of the beams. Okay, we have put the support, and after this there will be extension of the beam. So this is overhang, means the beam is in hanging condition. Okay, so that's why it's known as overhanging beam. Okay, so these three types of beam. Then we have propped cantilever beam. Propped cantilever beam. In propped cantilever, already we have seen cantilever beam. So let's draw the cantilever beam. Okay, so this is our cantilever beam. Okay, if at the free end, if we put any kind of support, at the free end if we put any kind of support of a cantilever beam, then it is known as propped cantilever beam. Then it is known as propped cantilever beam, means cantilever with support at free end is known as propped cantilever beam. Then we have continuous beam. So in continuous beam means there is a more than two supports. Okay, if more than two supports is there, then we called this as a continuous beam. Then we call this as a continuous beam, means more than two supports. Two supports. Okay, then we have fixed or built-in. Okay, if both the edges or sides are fixed, if both the edges or sides are fixed or built in, means it is inserted to some wall, then we call this as a fixed or built-in beams. Okay, so these are the different types of beams what we know, or we need to know the shear force and bending moment how acting, what will be the diagram for different kinds of beams. Okay, so this we have seen. Next we will be knowing to the next topic. Let's see, let's discuss about reaction at different supports. We have seen different types of beam. Now we will be knowing about reaction at different supports. Okay, so if we see we get three kinds of support. One is roller support, hinge support, and fixed or built-in support. Okay, these three types of, so I have taken one of the part, so they are roller support, and this symbols that breaking lines. Okay, so roller support means simply it is above the roller, or simply it is on the rollers like that. okay, or we can say this one. So now we have to see that what are the reaction it will provide this roller support. So can you tell me there is a which kind of reaction, means we have vertical reaction, we have horizontal reaction RH, and we have moment reaction, that is called M. So out of these three reaction, which will be resisting by the roller? Okay, so let's see. So now if we put vertical force, so it will react vertically, but if we put horizontal force, you see, so it is not resisting the horizontal force, it is moving. So means we can say that our horizontal reaction is 0, okay, vertical reaction is not is equal to 0, because we will get some vertical reaction, and moment. So above this, if it wants to twist like that, so it can twist, okay, there will be no resist, okay, so that's why moment also is equal to 0, okay. So for roller support only we will be getting, or we get vertical reaction, there will be no horizontal reaction, no moment reaction, okay. Next reaction we have hinge support. Next we have hinge support. So in hinge support, just this is also a simple support, and there will be hinge. Hinge means that is pin joint. So like that I hold this pen, suppose this, assume this as a pin, no sorry, this as a beam, that pen, and I pinned it, so this is known as hinge. So now you see, if I apply horizontal force, so it will resist, that beam can't move horizontally, okay. So means according to the Newton's third law, every action has its equal and opposite reaction, so it will provide, if we apply this side force, so this will be giving this side, okay. So there will be some resisting, so we can get horizontal reaction, so there will be horizontal reaction, so horizontal reaction not is equal to 0. Similarly, if I apply that vertical load like that, so it also resist, okay, it also resist, so we will be getting that vertical reaction RV also not is equal to 0. Now we have third reaction, that is moment. What about the moment reaction? So let's see, this is pin joint, now I am applying the force, okay. So just it is rotating, so when just you'll this, it will be easier. So now when I am applying some twisting moment, so it is rotating, means there is a no reaction. If there is a reaction, then it can't rotate, okay. So for hinge support also, that moment reaction will be equal to 0. So hinge support only will be getting horizontal reaction as well as vertical reaction, okay. So next we have fixed or built-in. Next we have fixed or built-in support. So for that, if it is fixed, so when we will apply some horizontal force this side, so it will resist, so we will be getting that horizontal reaction RH not is equal to 0. In vertical also it will resist, okay. So we will get vertical reaction also, and if it is fixed like that, if you want to twist, it will bend, okay, there will be no movement, so that's why it is giving moment reaction also. So you can say this moment also reaction also not is equal to 0. So in fixed or built-in support, we will be getting all the three reaction: horizontal reaction, vertical reaction, and moment reaction, okay. So these are the different reaction for different supports, okay. So next topic, these are very important, because when we are going to find bending moment or shear force, first our task will be to determine the reaction. Without reaction we can't find the bending moment or shear force. Okay, so let's see the next topic. We'll see the types of loading. Okay, so there is a different kinds of loading. So first we have point load or concentrated load. Point load or concentrated load means the total load acting at a point. Okay, so the W we have total load, this is acting at a particular or at a point. So this is also known as concentrated load. Concentrated means the total load concentrated at a point. Okay, that's why this is known as point load or concentrated load. Okay, next we have uniformly distributed load. So uniformly distributed load means the total load is uniformly distributed. Total load is uniformly distributed through the beam. Okay, so this is basically in the form of a rectangular. If we see that this is height of the rectangle and this is length. Okay, so length to height, this become constant, means at each and every point of the beam the intensity of load is constant. At each and every point of the beam the intensity of load is constant. So that's why this is known as uniformly distributed load, or we call this as a short form UDL. Okay, so this we can write that this intensity of the load is omega Newton per meter. Okay, this load is, so this is our UDL or uniformly distributed load. So total load is uniformly distributed throughout the system. Okay, so next we have this uniformly varying load. Uniformly varying load, so what happens, this kind of load, one end of the load becomes, intensity of load is 0 and it will be increasing through the length of the beam. So increasing and it will become maximum. Okay, so at this point our load intensity W is equal to 0, and at this point our load intensity W is equal to W max, suppose. Okay, so this height represents max. Okay, so this we can say this is our uniformly varying load. And if we want to find the magnitude of this load, how can we find? So that we can say that total load will represent the area of this. If you see, this is a kind of triangle, right angle triangle, and area of this right angle triangle will be the magnitude of the total load. So suppose length of this beam is L. So what is the area of a triangle? Area of triangle we can say half into base, that is L, into height, that is height is W max. Okay, so this is the total load for uniformly varying load. If uniformly varying load is there, then we have to find the magnitude of total load by this formula, or that is simply area of the total load. Similarly, if we see in UDL, uniformly distributed load, one more thing, this uniformly varying load, short form we can call it as a UVL. Okay, so for uniformly distributed load UDL, if we want to find this, already I told this is in the form of rectangle, always this will be in rectangular form. So if we want to find the magnitude of this load, so let's find the total area. Okay, so height is W, this height W. Okay, and this is length, so we can find the total load is equal to W into L. Okay, so this is if we say Newton, this is Newton unit. Okay, so these are the types of loading, or different types of loading we'll see in beams. Okay, so this is the basic things for shear force and bending moment, what we need to know. Next we will be knowing about shear force. How can we define shear force? I think you people having some idea about shear force. So let's see shear force. Shear force generally we used to define by the letter V. sometimes simply F or simply SF. Okay, so this is our shear force SF. We used to define capital V or F or SF. So different books they used to take different nomenclature. So in shear force, basically a vertical unbalanced force. Shear force used to define by a vertical unbalanced force. Suppose we have a simply supported beam, so this is our A, and on that beam the different forces are acting. Okay, so these are let's see P1, this is P2, and this is P3. These are the magnitude of force, and these point A, B, C, D and E. Okay, and this having different length. So suppose all the lengths are equal, L, L and L, so these forces are acting. Okay, and for A and E there is a two supports. So at the A, let's reaction is RA and this reaction is RE. Okay, so this is one beam. So shear force at any section used to define means out of this total length of the beam or span, we need to take any section. Okay, suppose this is our section XX. Okay, so at this section whatever will be the shear force, at this section the shear force will be the algebraic sum of the vertical forces. At this section the shear force is algebraic sum of the vertical forces including reaction, keep in mind, including reaction either one of the side of the section, means either left side or right side. If we make the algebraic summation of vertical forces, then that forces is known as shear force. Okay, so suppose if we say this left side, okay, suppose this x is distance x, so left side that shear force we can say Ra minus P1 minus P2. So at xx section our shear force will be Ra minus P1 minus P2 on the left side. Right side if we choose, so we will be getting Re minus P3. Okay, so these are the shear force. So basically already I told that this is basically a vertical unbalanced force, algebraic sum of vertical unbalanced force. Okay, so let's see the shear force at any section of a beam is the algebraic sum of all the forces including reactions acting normal. Normal means perpendicular, normal to the axis of beam either to the left or to the right of the section. Okay, so left or right of the section, the algebraic sum of normal force including the reaction acting on the beam axis is our shear force. So already we have seen how can you calculate the shear force. So this is about our shear force. So next let's see. Now let's see sign convention of shear force. What will be the sign convention for shear force? Okay, so now already we have seen that in shear force we have taken any section. Okay, So suppose this is our section XX. If the forces is acting such that left portion of the section is going up respect to right portion, left portion of the section is going upwards with respect to the right, then this shear force is assumed as a positive. This shear force is assumed as a positive. Okay, so it's like this. Our left portion gone upwards respect to our the right portion. Okay, so then we will be taking this as a positive shear force. Okay, so this is our positive shear force. On the other hand, if our left portion is going downwards and right portion is going upward, then it is known as our negative shear force. Okay, so let's see. So if it's happened that right up and left down, then it's is negative shear force. Okay, so here we have left upward and right of the section going downward, then it's our positive and negative shear force. This is our sign convention, but many book they used to consider the sign convention according to them. So for each and every problem, if you are writing any conventional paper, then you have to mention the sign convention when you are solving the problem. Later on we will see. Okay, so this is about our shear force. Next we will be knowing about bending moment. The next topic we are going to know, that is our bending moment. Okay, and bending moment we used to define by Bm, bending moment, or M. Okay, so this is our bending moment. So how can I define bending moment? So moment, already all of you know that moments means the product of force and the distance between line of action of force and the point about which we are determining the moment. So that is the magnitude of moments. Okay, but in bending moment what we know, actually when there is a vertical forces are acting, already we have mentioned during the beams that due to the vertical force, suppose W, our beam tends to bend or shear up. Okay, so already we have seen that shear up, left portion going down and right portion going up. So similarly it can bend. Okay, so if we see, it may bend like this. Okay, so the force, how can I define the moment, bending moment? This is the product of force and the distance between line of action of force and the center about which we are finding the moment. Okay, so this we can call as a moment. So suppose we are finding moment about A, B, C. Okay, so if we find moment about C, so for that we have reaction RA and RB. So moment about C, just hold at this point, and that RA into this perpendicular distance. So let's, this perpendicular distance is L. So MC will be our RA into L. Okay, RA into L. So this is our moment or bending moment, how to calculate. Okay, so like shear force, it is also the algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces including reaction about that section acting on the beam either to the right or left of the section. Okay, so like shear force, we can write it is the algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces including reaction about that section acting on the beam either to the right or to the left of the section. Okay, so this is our bending moment, algebraic sum of moment of all the forces including the reaction about any section either left side or right side. If we take this as a section xx, so left or right, whatever will be the moment. Okay, so this is our bending moment. So now next see the sign convention of bending moments. So sign convention of bending moment. Okay, so sign convention, if the force tends to bend the beam so that it is concave upward, is said to be positive, or vice versa. Okay, so if during the bending, if it's forming a concave upward, during the bending if it forms concave upward, okay, like this, then it is known as, or we call this as a positive. This will be our positive bending moment. Okay, positive bending moment, and this kind of concave upward curve is known as sagging. This kind of bending is known as sagging bending. Okay, on the other hand, if it concave downwards or if it is convex, then we call we take this as a negative, then is take as a negative, or this is known as sagging, sorry, this is known as hogging bending. Okay, convex curve is known as hogging bending, and positive is known as sagging bending. Okay, so this is our sign convention of bending moment. So next, so now we'll be knowing about shear force and bending moment diagram. How can you define shear force and bending moment diagram, or the topic we are discussing, the main topic, shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay, so already we have discussed what is shear force, what is bending moment. Okay, so to know the shear force and bending moment at all the section along the beam, we need to write two equation, one specifying shear force and the other specifying the bending moment. Okay, so we can say that for knowing shear force and bending moment, we need to write two equation. equation, one for shear force and other for bending moment. Okay, for knowing shear force and bending moment, we can call at all the section along the beam. We need to write two equation, one for shear force and another for bending moment as a function of x. Okay, we have to write this. So this one, and the plot of this above equation, what we will be knowing, for shear force bending moment we have written two equation, one for shear force, another one for bending moment as a function of x. So suppose this equation is shear force equation is 10x, sorry, 10w plus 2 wx for an example, and bending moment is 10wx plus 2w into x square. Keep in mind that bending moment always one order higher than the shear force. Okay, so that's why for all x multiplied I have this is it's not any equation for any cases, simply I have written two equation, okay, in terms of x. So these two are known as that shear force and bending moment equation. Okay, and if we plot these two equation, and then it is known as shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. This we used to do for knowing the maximum shear force and bending moment. This we used to do for knowing the maximum shear force and bending moment at any section of the beam. Okay, so we can say the plots of these equation are known as shear force diagram, short form we call this as a SFD, and bending moment diagram called its BMD. Okay, so these two is known as our shear force bending moment diagram, and keep in mind this we used to do for knowing the maximum value, and this is done for finding the maximum value. Okay, so this is our shear force and bending moment diagram. And another one thing, keep it in mind when we will be drawing the shear force and bending moment diagram, along the abscissa, or you can call x, we will be putting length. In x-axis we will be knowing about length L, and along ordinates or along the y-axis we will be knowing, or we will be plotting SF shear force or BM bending moment. Okay, so abscissa always there will be length, and in ordinates always will be SF or BM. Like that we will be plotting this equation. Okay, so this is our shear force and bending moment diagram. So today this much only. So next class we'll see that how to find shear force bending moment. Today for today's lecture or today's session up to this. So study this, and subscribe this so that after uploading the next session you will get easily. Okay, so thank you.